Queen Tulsa, baby. Your favorite shade, your hottest tea, and your headline queen. The Wendy Williams of YouTube, iconic, epic, and always petty when I need to be. Queen Tulsa, I'm the queen of YouTube. I'm the Wendy Williams of YouTube. Treat me right, I'll treat you right. Treat me wrong, I'll treat you wrong. Hit that like, I don't bite. Hit that like, I promise you'll like. Cameras on, baby, I control the stage. Every headline bends when I set the page. Hot topics burn, I deliver with grace. Shady little smirk while I give you faith. From the gossip rooms to the YouTube fight. Turn petty words into sleepless nights. If I say stops here, then it's all through. No one drops tea like I go. But I'm the queen of YouTube. I'm the Wendy Williams of YouTube. Treat me right, I'll treat you right. Treat me wrong, I'll treat you wrong. Hit that like, I don't bite. Hit that like, I promise you'll like. Like and subscribe, let the numbers climb. Serving raw truth with a touch of divine. Breaking news, baby, I say it bold. Every word drips, hotter than gold. Discussing cases, I keep receipts. I'm a boss in heels with the fire and heat. You want the tea, I pour it smooth. I'm Queen Tulsa, baby, I set the mood. Sweet on the lips, but sharp when I speak. But my shade unique. Iconic, epic, I reign supreme. Queen Tulsa, the boss, I'm the headline queen. Don't get it twisted, baby. You came for the gossip, but you stayed for the queen. I don't chase views, views chase me. Now sip that tea, and don't forget to hit that like. Queen Tulsa, I'm the queen of YouTube. I'm the Wendy Williams of YouTube. Treat me right, I'll treat you right. Treat me wrong, I'll treat you wrong. Hit that like, I don't bite. Hit that like, I promise you'll like. And remember, if I say it stops here, it stops here.
It feels so good to be back in the studio, giving you the hot topics. Now today we are going to get into the Real Housewives of Atlanta. Y'all know that they will be coming back actually in a few days. Well, I think this weekend. This week they're coming back. Yep. So the Real Housewives of Atlanta are coming back this week, and we have RHOA's Kim Zolciak to be grilled by the boyfriend's estranged wife in divorce war. Okay. Now listen here. RHOA star Kim Zolciak ready to be grilled by boyfriend's estranged wife and $100 million divorce. The Real Housewives of Atlanta alum Kim Zolciak agreed to be questioned under oath by lawyers representing her boyfriend, Kyle Mowitz's estranged wife, Jillian Green, TMZ has learned. All right, so let's get into it. According to court docs obtained by TMZ, and Jillian reached a deal where the reality star will show up and answer questions. According to the agreement, the transcript for Kim's deposition will be kept private and won't be shared with any third parties. As TMZ previously reported, Kyle and Jillian are in the middle of a bitter divorce battle involving over $100 million, okay, in assets. Jillian subpoenaed Kim as part of the case to question her money. Okay, good. Question her money, gifts, and loans that Kyle may have given the reality star. Kim previously called the subpoena unreasonable, oppressive, and intended to embarrass her. Jillian asked Kim to turn over all communications with Kyle and any documents related to any gifts she may have gotten from Kyle. Kyle's lawyer, Marvin Soleimani, previously said Ms. Mowitz's decision to involve her in the divorce case is highly unnecessary, as any relationship our client may have with her only began after the party's separation. Cal and Jillian wed in 2017 and split in 2024. As TMZ previously reported, Kim and her estranged husband Croy split in 2023 after over a decade together. The two have yet to finalize their divorce. Whew, I want to say that this is very messy. With Kim, if you all know Kim, if you watched the Real Housewives of Atlanta, she had a big papa. Like he was still married. He was still attached to his wife. I don't really know the situation because they never really brought it to the forefront. But what I can say is he did buy her like a Cadillac Escalade, like she went to the dealership, and only thing she had to do was make a phone call. So as far as her getting gifts and things like that, yeah, Kim has definitely been called out for it. Do you all remember when Nene Leaks? This is like earlier on when the Real Housewives had come out. Um, they were on like the couch and stuff, and Nene had called her out to say, keep your legs close to married men. And Kim was acting so delusional, like she had no clue of what Nene was talking about. But we all knew what Nene was talking about. Anywho, I just feel like with her, she, from my understanding, she had gambling issues in the past and she couldn't stay out the casinos or gambling and stuff like that. I feel like, she's just accustomed to a certain type of lifestyle. And, just like, you know, these guys move around, I think, shoot, once she's got all she can get, now she's on to the next. In my opinion, like, okay, we tried this out, it didn't work. Your finances aren't even at my level of expectation because I'm a girl that likes to shop. I like to, take trips. I like to go to the, do she likes to be on the move. But the finances have to be there. The bank account has to match up to her status. And she's a kept woman, you know? I'm not saying that it's right, but do you all remember that time on the episode where um Nene and Kim, they were going at it and stuff. And so Kim went over to Portia's house and they were having a conversation. And Portia was like, well, I don't think that's right that somebody would call out your whore daughter. And it was like, I guess Portia knew some stuff and she didn't really, Kim did not give her the smoke. I want to see if that had come from Nene or Candy. Oh, she would have, went back and forth with them because allegedly she knows a little bit more of their business. But yeah, she did not challenge Portia on it, nor did she correct her on that. But we also have to understand, remember her daughter, I believe it was Brielle, that's like the oldest one. She had come out and said that they were having financial issues. And, she had showed the bottom of her like red bottom and it was all scraped up. I was like, oh my God, why is Kim doing this to the girls? But I want to say, Kim, you have a lot going on. I think Kim may have cast another spell. Because you all know Kim, remember when she brought her psychic on the show, or she went to the psychic to get her reading or whatever the case may be. But yeah, that's all I have on Kim. Now let's get into it. Now, speaking of drinking, because Kim loves her whole nasty piece of cigarette in a cocktail. Well, Tiger Woods, the only one driving me is me. So if you guys do not know, Tiger Woods ended up flipping his vehicle and refused the sobriety, the blood sample. Well, Tiger Woods is addressing the question everyone is asking: why doesn't he get a driver, especially if he has a clear substance abuse problem? Well, he's not giving the answer people wanted. Actually, Tiger cares a lot about his privacy, at least according to People. The mag cites an anonymous source who claims he won't hire a private driver because he doesn't want anyone to watch over him or know what he is doing. The source adds that the legendary golfer also thinks he's fine to drive. The insider goes on to say that Tiger despises public scrutiny. It's pretty ironic because he's come under plenty of scrutiny after getting busted twice for DUI. As we reported, Tiger was arrested on Friday in Jupiter, Florida, after authorities say he was impaired while speeding on a two-lane road. Clipped the back of a pickup truck hauling a trailer and flipped his SUV. According to the Martin County Sheriff's Department, Tiger went through a series of field sobriety tests at the scene, which he failed and was then taken into custody. He later posed for a mugshot, and needless to say, doesn't look too happy so far. Tiger hasn't commented on the incident. My thing is, put the drinks down. And yes, hire a driver. Like, I'd rather you be that responsible than this careless. Let's just say that the trailer was not on that vehicle. Let's just say that that you rammed into it, that person's vehicle flipped, your vehicle flipped, and then somebody gets unalived. So I think Tiger needs to count his blessings. Tiger needs to not really focus on what people think. And I think he should think of how he could protect and save lives over his selfish acts, you know? Um, very careless. All right, so let's get into it. Our next topic. Erica Kirk faces fresh scrutiny as late husband's pal questions alleged succession audio played at AmFest demands video proof. Okay. Now, Candace Owens has continued her criticism of Erica Kirk with her latest remarks focusing on an audio clip played at AmFest. The recording suggests that the recording suggested that the late Charlie Kirk wanted his wife to carry on his role if he was unavailable. However, Owens questioned the authenticity of the audio, arguing that a video recording should have been presented instead. Owens had previously received a cease and desist letter from Erica Kirk, but she has since indicated that she does not intend to comply with its demands. Okay. Now, why Candace Owens finds the Charlie Kirk succession audio questionable? Let's find out. In the wake of AM Fest, a yearly convention organized by Charlie's Turning Point USA, Owens has taken another swipe at his widow over a moment during the event. Just as the event commenced, an alleged audio recording of Charlie expressing his desire for his wife to assume control of the organization should anything occur to him was played. It is likely that the audio was played to reassure TPUSA, faithful that Erica remains the right person to continue Charlie's work, but Owens found its authenticity questionable and wondered why there was no video. Why won't they release the video? Surely, if they captured the audio, they have the video, the podcaster said on X. The claim made is that an Aspen retreat weeks after. Oh, the claim made is that an Aspen retreat weeks before his death, Charlie answered a donor who asked, "What would happen if you died?" To which he replied that he would want Erica to take over. "I would like to see the video of that," she added. Oh, wow. Releasing the video would help Erica Kirk dispel the narrative that she wanted her husband's position. In the comment section of Owens posted, several netizens agreed with her stance on the surprise succession audio. One particular said that releasing the full video would settle everything instead of raising more questions around context and credibility. Owens responded with precisely and went on to Gold, the mother of two, to post a video of the same claims. It would certainly go a long way in dispelling the narrative that Erica wanted his position for herself. Seems like an easy PR win to release the footage, she added. Another person commented, I've been asking for proof of this, especially with AI. For something so big and serious, there should be official documented proof. Now, Erica Kirk has really been in the news lately. Even with like Drewski, he did a parody of her and kind of how, you know, what he feels is, her mannerisms and things like that. When you talk about parody and you talking about cease and desist, you cannot run after everybody just because you have, you know, coins in your purse. Like you have to understand that whether if you like it or not, when you become a public figure and you're representing brands and you're getting donations and you're in the press and you're in political spaces, you most definitely will have a time and moment where you feel like, hey, I want this not to go on, but that's impossible. Like I said, when you become a public figure, that's why you need to like research your occupations like thoroughly, read the fine line, read the detail, and do plenty of research to see if this is for you. Because to be honest, public speaking and things like that, yeah, it might seem cool and stuff, but just know that there are spectators out there that are going to be listening, they're going to be looking, they're going to be combing through your words with the fine tooth comb. It's an investigation. I mean, your husband, was deceased and, weeks before there were conversations, him responding back. The people want the proof. All right, so let's get into it. In other news, well, here in Tulsa, Oklahoma, the Tulsa Botanic Blooms returns with more than 150,000 spring flowers. And I'm so excited to get out there. I will be doing some live broadcasts so we can see some of the flowers. Okay. Well, the annual Tulsa Botanic Blooms event has returned to the Tulsa Botanic Garden. Botanic Blooms features over 150,000 tulips, daffodils, hyacinths, and many other spring flowers. The design of the plants is meant to allow for at least 6 weeks of prime display time. The flowers can be found in the A and R Mary Louise Tandle Floral Terraces, the Children's Discovery Garden, the Lakeside Promenade, and in front of the Visitor Center. Tulsa Botanic Blooms doesn't just have gorgeous flowers, it also includes Sean Kinney's Nature Connects exhibit that showcases Lego sculptures inspired by nature. Yes, for more information and to learn how to buy tickets, you just go to fox23.com and look that up. Yes, I'm definitely going to be checking that out. All right, so in other news, guys, in other news, well, Trump says he has no problem with Russian tanker bringing oil to Cuba despite blockade. President Trump said Sunday night he has no problem with a Russian oil tanker off the coast of Cuba delivering relief to the island, which has been brought to its knees by a U.S. oil blockade. We have a tanker out there. We don't mind having somebody get a boatload because they need. They have to survive, Mr. Trump told reporters as he flew back to Washington. When asked if a New York Times report that the tanker would be allowed to reach Cuba was true, Mr. Trump said, I told them if a country wants to send some oil into Cuba right now, I have no problem whether it's Russia or not. On Monday, Russia's transport oh, Transport Ministry said the oil tanker Anatoly Kolokin arrived at the Cuban port of Manizales carrying humanitarian supplies of about 730,000 barrels of oil. The vessel is sanctioned by the United States, the European Union, and the United Kingdom following the war in Ukraine. Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov said Monday that Russia had previously discussed its oil shipment to Cuba with the United States. Russia considers its duty not to stand aside, but to provide the necessary assistance to our Cuban friends, he told reporters. Cuban state media said it was scheduled to arrive Monday at Manzanares in western Cuba. Shipping data showed it sailing off Cuba's northeast coast on Monday, but it wasn't immediately clear whether it had docked, news agency AFP reported. Mr. Trump, whose government has come at its Caribbean adversary more aggressively than any U.S. government in recent history, has effectively cut Cuba off from key oil shipments in an effort to force regimen change. The blockade has had devastating effects on the civilians. Mr. Trump and Secretary of State Marco Rubio say they want to help, leaving many desperate. Well, you know what? This is a lot. There's so much going on in the world. That's why I say, we have to learn survival skills and we just have to pay attention to what's going on around us. You know, I read a post, uh, I believe it was either this morning or last night, where they've readjusted the age for recruitment in the service. So you guys want to maybe look out for that and just kind of stay aware and brief of what's going on around you. Now, our next topic, Jay-Z's former best friend Jigga is a Satanist. Shout out to our friends over at the Media Takeout. He chose darkness. Former roommate Larry Johnson trashes Jay-Z in explosive GQ interview. Breakdown. Now, here are the details. Media Takeout has the most controversial story of the year, and it's coming from someone who was once in Jay-Z's inner circle. Former star, former NFL star Larry Johnson, who was so close to Hove that they were actually roommates in New York City back in the day, is going scorched earth on the rap mogul's recent GQ cover story. Now, while the world is celebrating Jay-Z's 2026 is all offense era, Larry is claiming that the offense is actually a spiritual war. In a series of bombshell posts, Johnson alleges that the man he once called a brother has traded his soul for a seat at the table of the great beast. Now, clock this. I chose Yahuwah. He chose Satan. Larry started his analysis by clarifying that he doesn't have beef with the Carters personally. Nothing. They always treated him with respect. However, he says their paths diverged when Jay-Z allegedly embraced the occult. Johnson pointed out, Johnson pointed to Jay-Z's famous Do What Thou Wilt hoodie, a direct quote from Crowley's The Book of Law, as proof that the rapper is following a dark, ritualistic philosophy that dates back to the 1920s. The Billionaire Illusion and the 360 Deal. One of the most shocking parts of Larry's critique in his claim that Jay-Z and Beyonce aren't the billionaires they claim to be. He alleges that their massive Live Nation 360 deals are actually financial exploitation traps. The claim, Johnson believes the Carters are being used as fronts for corporate interests, trading their image for a line of credit rather than true independent wealth. The informant CEO. He also highlighted the irony of Jay-Z using racial propaganda while his Rock Nation CEO, Desiree Perez, was pardoned by Donald Trump in 2021. Larry Larry reminded fans that Perez was a former government informant, calling into question the secret code Jay Z often raps about. Larry Johnson, Jay Z, during dinner um, back in at Mr. Shaw in New York's, they have photos together. The Brooklyn Nets exploiting his own community. Larry didn't stop at religion. He went after Jay Z's business legacy in Brooklyn. He claims Jay Z was used as the blackface of the Barclays Center to silence local residents who feared gentrification. The Wampus, in fact, despite being the face of the team, Jay Z famously owned less than 1%, specifically 0.15% of the Brooklyn Nets. The casino shut down. Media Takeout can confirm that just last September 2025, Jay Z's $5.4 billion dollar bid for a Times Square casino was officially disapproved by a New York Community Advisory Committee. Lay argues this rejection happened because the city finally saw through the strategic move to use Jay Z as a community shield. Gentri- Gentrification catalyst. Residents in Brooklyn have long complained that the Barclays Center led to rising inequality and the displacement of working class black families. Larry's critical analysis suggests that Jay Z's involvement was a technology used to make the borough's erasure look like progress. Is Larry Johnson a truth teller who's seen too much behind the curtain? Or is he just disgruntled is he just a disgruntled former friend looking for clout? Well, when you really think about it, I mean, you just kind of see how people kind of move and navigate in spaces. Um, it just makes you want to scratch your head. But I do want to say that Jay Z has been in the news. He just did that interview, and I watched part of it. I'll have to watch it again, and I can do my own breakdown of how I felt. But what I did see, it was like, mm, I felt like he needed somebody else in that chair to ask those questions. I think during his interview, he was, he got to glide and slide and not really address what the people really wanted to hear. But that's, like I said, I only saw like the beginning part of it. So I'll take a look at it, and yeah, I'll give you guys my feedback. Now, on to our next topic. TLC's Chilli donated to Trump, multiple donations to MAGA Republicans. And baby, you know the internet is going to go for the receipts. Media Takeout has some tea that is literally setting the internet on fire, while TLC has always been about female empowerment and waterfalls. It looks like Rosanda Chilli Thomas might be moving to a different beat. According to Explosive FEC, Federal Election Commission records were uncovered. Chilli hasn't just been creeping; she's been cutting checks to for the GOP. Clock this, okay? The receipts 900 for the red wave. Federal records Thomas for Rosanda Thomas out of Stone Mountain, Georgia, an address long associated with the singer, show that she's been financially supporting the MAGA movement throughout the 2024-2026 cycle. The breakdown of her political scrubs includes $787 to Donald Trump aligned PACs, including okay, so 780. Yeah. Okay, hold on. Let me see. Um, 787 $787 to Donald Trump aligned PACs, including Win Red and Never Surrender in court. $63 to the National Republican Senatorial Committee NRSC. $7 to Texas Senator Ted Cruz. While the dollar amounts aren't huge, the message they send to her longtime fan base has caused a massive divide. All right, now let's get into it. The accidental Michelle Obama, the accidental Michelle Obama conspiracy. The drama reached a fever pitch last week when fans called Chilli rehearsing a wild debunked conspiracy theory on Instagram claiming that former Lady Michelle Obama is transgender. After the waterfalls of backlash started pouring in, Chilli finally broke her silence in a video obtained by TMZ just yesterday, March 29th, 2026. She's claiming the whole thing as a glitch. I accidentally clicked the repost option. I didn't even know it happened until I got phone calls. Chilli explained, I have the most up respect for Michelle Obama. I would never do anything disrespectful to her. Okay, regarding the donations, Chilli claims she was simply trying to support the veterans through, though critics were quick to point out that when Red is a partisan fundraising platform, not a non-political veterans charity. All right, so let's get into this. A house divided: T-Boz versus Chili. While Chili is following MAGA influencers like Don Jr. and Tammy Loran, her bandmate Tion T-Boz Watkins is on a completely different mission. T-Boz has been a fierce advocate for the Affordable Care Act and progressive healthcare. Recently partnered with Gilead for the So We Prep campaign to fight HIV in the Black community. Left Eye, the late great Lisa Lopez, was known for her humanitarian work in Honduras, focusing on children's development and spiritual healing. The contrast between the two surviving members has fans wondering if there's tension behind the scenes. One viral tweet read, T-Boz is fighting for our healthcare while Chile is out here funding the people trying to take it away. TLC really stands up for Trump. TLC really stands for Trump likes Chili now. Oh, all right. Is Chili just a confused veteran supporter, or has she officially traded her red light special for a MAGA hat? Let us know in the comments. You know what? That's one thing I can say because y'all already know. Like, first of all, T-Boz is she has sickle cell, and y'all know that she had battled it, and I think that we all saw kind of like, you know, her struggles and stuff like while they were just starting out their career and things like that, and her managing to still proceed with her obligations with the group as long as she could. And when you talk about healthcare, Nellie's sister, she has sickle cell. But when you talk about healthcare and us in our community and these hospitals and the way that we get treated by the staff and things like that, I feel like Chili should have definitely done her research. But this is what I want to say. Chili has always been selfish. Even with her, in the group, she was dealing with Ellie Reed, she was dealing with Dallas Austin, she was dealing with Usher. I mean, she was, the quote unquote pretty black girl with the good hair. You see what I'm saying? And I feel like Chili was the reason why Pebbles went in on the group in the way that she did because of, you know, the lies. Oh. Yes. What I'll do is I'm sorry, I had to take a sip of my water. I do have the proof. I'll put them on my community wall. Yeah, I'll put them on my community wall. Yeah, but there are definitely receipts that back it up that she supported, I just feel like people gonna support who they're gonna support, but I just feel like you need to do a thorough investigation to see what they're about. We all know some politicians get into office and they'll make all these promises, and do they really just, do they really um actually, let's do this. Yeah, so I'll put those on the community wall. Let me go ahead and get that together. Well, listen, I want to definitely thank you all so much for tuning in to the show, to the broadcast. This is our coffee talk. Yes, it is. And I'm just so excited that you guys are here. We are back um, at 9 a.m. in the a.m. Monday through Friday. And so we just want to just definitely thank you for your support. And please make sure you like, share, and subscribe. And also tell somebody that we're live. So long.